So, for instance, you and your friend in your organization, you're on the same level. And so maybe the manager calls you and say, okay, hi, Joke, we can only promote one. Who do you prioritize? Do you prioritize yourself or your friend?
Do you guys even like listening to HR podcasts where we go deeper into uncovering human dynamics in the workplace? Or do you think that we are just tools for management or the fun police?
Welcome to the other side of HR, where we spill the tea, debunk the lies and the myths, and navigate the corporate world together. So buckle up and enjoy the ride as we dive into the truth, the lies, and everything in between.
Hi, my beautiful people. You are welcome to another episode of
The Other Side of HR. On today's episode, we will be talking about, are your colleagues your friend, or are you in what? Wonderland.
My bestie in front of me.
Jenny, can you hear? Jenny, please, are you hearing? Okay, guys. So today's episode is quite interesting for me, right? Because, again, all my work life experience, everywhere I've worked, I've always had people that I loved. And, you know, even after I've left there, these people are in my life and they are a very big blessings. However, I have heard experiences, you know, of how, you know, people in your office can be the weapon fashioned against you. Like,
Municipality and power.
I'm telling you, and, you know, and it's dicey for some people where immediately you tell them, are you friends? They'll be like, God forbid, my work people. They are this, they are that. And, you know, you just hear experience, you read experiences. And I think that it's one important topic that we should treat. And that's why we're here talking about, should you have friends? Should you make your colleagues your friends? Or when you get to work, it's work. And immediately you finish like this, you're carrying your back and you're going home.
Oh, it's bad behavior.
But people have seen things in this life, Joke.
Well, true,
People have seen things. Now, so, Joke, would you say that outside of me, because I know that I'm Joke's best friend, would you say that you've had any bad experience, you know, with workplace friendships?
No, I haven't. And I think I'm pretty much similar. I think I share in your sentiments where you say that places where you've worked, you know, you've developed friendships with people, you know, that has even transcended over time, you know, since you left the place. That's also my experience. Everywhere that I've worked, I've always had a friend, right? Maybe not a close friend all the time, but I've always had people who I could talk to if I had issues, people who I could confide in, and they had my back. There was no backstabbing. There was nothing like that. So I haven't experienced that other side of it. So I would say that your colleagues are your friends, could be your friend. But however, you also need to practice the spirit of discernment.
Very important.
Because some people, from the way they even look, you can always tell that this one is not, this person is not my friend, you know. And then along the line, when you work with people, because we spend more of our time in the workspace, actually. So I can't imagine not actually having a friend. Because me, even though people say I'm not a friendly person, but I think I'm a friendly person. Because me, I can't imagine being in the workspace and not having a body.
It would be terrible, actually. It would be terrible. And that's why, like, every time when, you know, you go on LinkedIn, you go on X or even Instagram, you're like, nobody's your friend. Come to work, do your work and go home. Like, you know how
even employees always say, when companies say we're a family, say we're not a family.
You know what our parents gave birth to. It would be very depressing to actually come to work and not be able to share laughs.
8 to 5, just people on your screen, just squeezing your face. No, now.
My guy, like, again, like she said, you have to be very discerning because there are people who are users, people who you cannot even trust. You
people
know, you
throw you under the bus right away
without thinking twice. Like, you will be thinking that this person is my guy, but the person is actually not. So you do have to be very discerning. You do have to be very careful when you're choosing people that you're saying, this person is my friend or this person is not mine. But saying that you would willingly go through life Monday to Friday without having someone. Do you know how?
Guys, let's even explore the benefits, right? Support network. Imagine you are having, not a day, imagine you are having a week of back-to-back bass from your line manager. How are you going to survive that week?
And you know that it's actually hard to explain to your friend how your line manager is.
Because they can't relate.
You have to tell someone in the office that, do you even know that person?
And when I say can't relate, I'm not saying relating as per the specific problem. Maybe the person.
They need to understand, you know, the context of how this person behaves, so that when you are saying it, they will not be asking you some kind of questions.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you know how sometimes you call some people, they're like, hey, imagine, and the person's like, you need to just calm down. You need to.
And in your head, it's like,
that's not the what you want to hear, but your colleague will know.
We say, the person will tell you,
She did. Oh my God.
Exactly. The person already understands.
You need support. No. That's one. Number two, it would also enhance collaboration and teamwork. Because imagine you get along so well with your team member. The sky is only the starting point.
True. Or even someone outside of your department. For instance, imagine that you're supposed to be working with like someone in marketing and your work friend is already in marketing. You're already able to collaborate and do the work. The work smoothly. You're happy to even do it.
The work is done.
Do you understand?
The third one would be increased engagement, right? Imagine you're in an environment where now let's be factual. It's not possible that everybody's going to get along. But imagine you're in an environment where most employees get along. They enjoy working together. You say, let's do team bonding. Everybody's there on the eye. That, oh, sure, let's do it. You don't know what that would do for your engagement as a company. You don't know how that would impact your engagement survey. Where people are saying, is this a great place to work? Number 5 straight. Yes. Would you recommend this place? Do you get what I mean? So, I'm not taking away from people who might have maybe had bad experience, but I'm just saying that, having a friend in the workplace, it has its benefits, if not like 100% benefits.
And you know how like an organization can be a terrible place to work, but the people that you're working with makes it okay. Having the right people to be like, we're in the trenches, but not because together.
Then, in as much as it has the its pros, right? Because when I was asking people around this topic, what their experiences were like. A lot of people that I spoke to, they didn't really have good experiences. Some talked about, people who they thought were their friends, who literally threw them under the bus. People who thought they were friends were the reasons why they got exited from companies. Like really, really sub stories, right? I really wish that we had maybe like an example of what it was like, having a friend at the workplace. I wouldn't say I've experienced it, right? But I've witnessed it happen to people, right? Where somebody who you thought was your friend was actually the one giving the CEO information about you. I wish I could go and tell the person when I found out. Right. But if I told the person, it would have clearly been coming for me. Do you get what I mean? So, how would you advise people to go around that kind of situation, especially in an environment where you guys are still there together? Do you get what I mean? Like you find out that your colleague who's supposed to be your friend has been backstabbing you.
I feel like personally, I'm a very straightforward person. If I feel that you've been moving one kind to me, like if I'm being real to you and you're not being real to me, I'll come to you straight up and be like, I heard that this is what you're doing. If it was me, I wouldn't be doing this. I'll give the person an opportunity. However, if I see for a fact that this person is really not the kind of person I should be calling friends, we're done. We're absolutely done, because it makes no sense that because I take friendship very serious. Like I don't make friends easily. So if you are in my circle, I like you and I'm willing to go the extra mile for you. But if I find out that you're not doing that, instead you are jeopardizing my opportunities, my career, and you're just making me look like a damn fool outside. Like there's no need for us to be in any form of relationship. The best is that you're my colleague. I see you, I say hello, we move on.
I get that. And I think another thing could also be, could there be a situation where, imagine that there are like 5 people in a department, right? And no, not 5 is too much. Like, for this example, say there are 3 people in a department and 2 get along so well. Wouldn't the third person feel excluded?
They are not friends, they are colleagues. I'm sorry.
No, but imagine you're sharing snacks together in the office.
We're not friends, we're colleagues, so we're in the office.
Well, that person is going to feel some kind of way. I don't think so.
I wouldn't feel some type of way.
No, I'm not talking about you.
I personally won't feel some kind. So if it's happening with me, I don't expect anybody to feel some type of way.
No,
we're not friends. We're all colleagues. Just because I am cool with this person doesn't necessarily mean I have to be cool with the other person just because we're in the same department.
No, I'm not saying you have to be cool with the person. No, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is, imagine like we share the same office space, the 3 of us, maybe me, you, and somebody else. Maybe you and somebody else, right? And me and somebody, let me not use you because you're not a good example. Let me say me and you are very close, right? We're very close, we're always, like we always have conversations, we're eating together, all this kind of stuff, right? And in fact, probably even leads to work in terms of maybe like the person almost feels neglected. They don't have it. I'm probably giving you all the work to do.
The person will be happy now. You don't give me work. Why would I be angry? Hello, I don't want to work.
What if someone that wants to work?
then the person will come and meet you for work. But I don't think that if you like me, the first thing you'll be doing is give me work. I think.
But I feel like it might affect team dynamics. That's what I mean. Do you get what I mean? Because if you're supposed to be three in a group, if you're supposed to be three in a department, and the third person feels left out.
I think that the idea would now be, how do you balance relationship in a way that it doesn't affect work? Yeah.
Okay.
I think that that's where the conversation, because again, yes, we should be friends, but like, we shouldn't leave the work that we are here to do. But we are getting paid to do the work, right? So it shouldn't affect work. But in the idea of it be, and when I actually onboard people, we always have to talk about exclusion, because that's a form of harassment in itself. So I remind people that it's possible that two people could get along very well in the organization and decide to go out. If they don't invite you, it's none of your business. That's not a company's event. That's them. However, when it's a company event, that's when it becomes an exclusion, when you're not invited. So if there are 5 people in a department and 4 people get along so well and they don't get along with you and they don't call you to things, it's not a place for you to feel sad. If you try to be their friend and they don't want you to be their friend, look for someone else that would be your friend in the organization.
But I feel like that your advice would be good for somebody who
is like me,
who doesn't care. What if someone actually cares? Somebody who is emotional. So how do you advise person to navigate it?
That is the learning curve.
Because you don't have it in reality.
That's a learning curve. The person needs to learn. Because to be honest, you can't force people
because
to
it's
be
not your
friends.
house, so.
Exactly. You can't force people. I know that there are some people that are like very badly behaved in the organization. Like, you even try to be friendly with them, but they are so weird. You're trying your best to be like this and that, and they are like stand up, but you still want standoffish. You want me to add you to my clique. I'm like, stay where you are. You're not invited here, and that's how it is.
Okay, fair point. I get that.
I want to ask this question. Do you think that, because it's similar to the kind of question that you asked, right? Do you think that sometimes relationship affects make or mar your career in the organization? Let me explain. So, for instance, you have a very friendly person and the person now befriends the head of the department, and all of a sudden this person is getting promoted, and maybe the person works. Maybe the person is actually a hard worker, but like everybody is also a hard worker. But you see that it's only this single person because, and people start to say, oh, it's because you're friends with this person. Yeah. Do you think that would happen?
Definitely that would happen. I think it would happen. But however, if it happens to you, I think you need to speak up. Especially if you're also an high performer, right? You know the value you bring, you know the work that you should speak up. It doesn't mean that that's gonna stop, right? But however, you should speak up, and if nothing is done about it, then you should escalate to HR. Because that would be wild. That would be very wild if you're in a department, right, and only one person is getting all of the recognition, promotion, and perks. That's like, I wouldn't even tell anybody to even stomach that. If you speak up and nothing happens, then maybe you should plan your exit.
Sure.
But are you saying that the person is your friend too? The person who's getting the perks is also your friend? Or
yes. But the person is friends with like maybe the head of the department.
The person is a bad friend. Because the person is only out for themselves. The person cannot speak to the manager and say, please help me promote your care, please help me promote.
And I think that I understand why sometimes people think that being friendly in the organization can be eye service of some sort. Because it depends
now. It depends on the context now. If you're friendly with someone in management.
But what if I'm just a friendly person?
It can be, especially if somebody in management who's also a badly behaved person. And you talk about the person too.
True. Actually, that's so true.
The biggest eye service ever. However, I also have a question, right? My question would be, have you ever experienced a situation where your relationship with a colleague crossed over into friendship, but for better or for worse? Is it better? Is it worse?
No, I don't understand the question.
So, like, you have a friend in the workplace, right? So it's 2 things. Was it all the way good? Or was it a part where you went from good to bad? I think I have something like that, right? But I would not even say it's bad, right? But I think it just made me just realize that maybe the person is not actually my friend. Like I said, the person is my friend because I only worked with the person for a very short period of time. And then the person had asked me to be their guarantor in another workplace, right? So when I was even reading the indemnity, I say, and to be fair, right, I only worked with you for 1 year. I don't know your house, just you. I don't think I have enough information about you, right, to be able to guarantee you. You know what I mean? And then I'd given the feedback to the person. The person got really mad. I was like, oh, you don't do this for me. And the person hasn't spoken to me since then.
I'm sorry. I mean, I think that it's crazy that, people actually expect people that don't know them very well to stand as guarantors for them. Do you understand? You have a
Wow.
father, you have a mother, you have a sister, you have a brother, you have a husband, you have all these people.
But should your family guarantee you?
Yes, absolutely. The first, in fact, I think that is a lot because imagine that your friend runs away now,
It's me they come and carry.
and you don't know anybody.
I don't know any. I don't even know where you live.
You
You know,
understand
and
how?
I was very polite. I was very polite in my feedback. I was like, oh, I'm not comfortable doing this. I didn't even say no outrightly. What I said was, okay, let me see. But then when how this
A lot of organization tries to tie the guarantee.
You get what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, I'm not comfortable with this. I would not be able to do that. That maybe you should give it to somebody else. I'm just like, oh wow, sometimes you don't trust. And I'm like, yeah, I don't trust you because I don't know you. But I'm guessing that that's not a good scenario because if I can't trust you, means you're not my friend, right?
Not necessarily. Please, in the context of
You have friends that you don't trust.
in the context of work, right? I don't necessarily have to trust you in my life. We're just getting by. We're just very close on the job.
Wow. you sound like a user. We're just getting by.
Because outside of you, I would say that I'm close to people in the office, but do I really know anything about them? Absolutely not.
True.
Right?
But you always say I'm not close to anybody.
No, I'm close to a couple of people, right? But do I really know anything outside of what we do in the office? Absolutely not.
I get what you mean. Okay, that makes
like
sense.
in my previous organization, I have like a lot of people that are my friends, but only one person I would be willing to stand as guarantor for. And even that, I will draw his ear and say, please don't disgrace me outside. Do you understand? So again, we could be friends, but like there are levels to the trust. Like there are people that you're my friends. I will trust you with money because over time you've proven yourself to be trustworthy with money. But there are people that will say that you're my friends. I don't know you. I've not trusted you with money before. If I carry my 1 million and give you, maybe I won't see you tomorrow.
Okay, got it. So one last question I probably want to ask you would be, what would be your advice to people who they don't really care, they don't want to be anybody's friends?
I don't have any advice for them. No, but to be honest, it's good for them.
They should just go.
Everybody should do you. If you don't want to have friends, it's good for you. Fine,
it's not
right?
compulsory, though.
To be honest, but again, it will be great. Imagine, like, I don't know how people do it because work is a lot. Work is actually a lot,
And you're there Monday to Friday. For those of you who don't have hybrid remote work option,
do you understand? And like
8 to 5 or 9
there are days where you are just over. Yesterday, I was speaking to someone who was overwhelmed at work, right? And she was crying, and I was just talking to her, and like she was just able to. She just needed someone to talk to at that point. Imagine not having anybody like that. That's. Please, again, if you want to, but if you don't want to,
it's okay.
You're a superwoman or a superman.
Come and teach us your
way.
Tactics. That would be nice to have that at the back burner.
Exactly. But it's also important that, even though you say, oh, you have friends at work, you're able to draw a line. You're able to balance it, know when. Because there's some people that do not even have filter because you think that we're friends.
You're giving me so much information. I don't know that.
I don't want to know it too. It's okay. Like it's okay to be able to say, I am your work friend, and this is all you should be able to tell me. Do you understand? Again, please, it's okay. Like I tell Joke all my life secrets.
Yeah, right.
She knows everything about me. It's okay to have a friend that you can do that, but be able to draw the line, be able to know when it's, oh, this person I can go all the way with. Because there are people that don't even know how to close their mouth in the office. You just tell one person one thing and your gist is everywhere.
Probably even on the intranet.
Do you understand? And so you need to be careful. You need to know when this is okay enough to share. This is the kind of person you want to share it with.
Which is just, you need to be able to identify
the level of friendship.
Who is what to you. Exactly.
Exactly.
To do that, yeah.
My final question would be, so for instance, you and your friend in your organization, you're on the same level. And so maybe the manager calls you and say, okay, hi, Joke, we can only promote one. And we're thinking about you or your friend.
Oh, my man call you and say that kind of nonsense.
Let's just say they call you and they
I will not be working that kind of
Because in situations like that, who do you prioritize? You prioritize yourself or your friend?
What kind of a question is this? So you try. First off, management should do. They should you
but in that you already know that people do that.
I don't know people do that.
Already.
When they say, "Oh, we have one spot," space, I was thinking of if it's you,
or your friend.
So who decides it? I'm like, then decide it by yourself. Don't do that to me. I'm not supposed to make.
But what if your friend says they should choose him or her?
They should choose my friend. Every man for himself. The Bible even says, "Love your neighbor as yourself." You didn't say love your neighbor more than yourself. That's what I would have just done if it was me. I would not say me. I would just say, because at the end of the day, the management has all the information to make
the right decision.
So that's even crazy, you calling me into that conversation. But like I said, I would not be mad at my friend because, like I said, the Bible says, "Love your neighbor as yourself, not more than yourself." Would you be blunt about that kind of thing? Because
I would appreciate that the person speaks to me. Like, even if you say, "Oh, do this," but like you're able to say, "Management called me," or they say it's me and you, but me, I choose myself, right? I feel that.
Would you be mad? You seem like you'll be mad if the person chose herself
and doesn't tell me. Yes, no. Choose yourself is fine, but come back again if we're very close. Just let me know.
But are you really sure that you'll be able to handle that information?
Especially if the person is my friend, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would rather that my friend tell
themselves.
Yes, I would rather that my friend tell me than tomorrow I'm hearing that they asked this and the person you're calling your friend.
In fact, that's your scenario. It cannot even happen. Which manager will call you to business and say, once promoted, it's either you or this.
Okay. Let's pray that organizations actually don't do that, but I do know that things like this actually happen. Okay. So last question, actually. I said that was my life, but I have this scenario where
I feel like I'm on the
receiving end right now. Yes, now because I'm my friend now. Okay, so an employee was called, right, and they told him that he's doing very well, but his friend is not doing very well, and they want to let the friend go. What should that employee do in that scenario?
They want to let the friend go
because he's not doing very well. So
why are they telling?
Maybe how maybe the person is the person's line manager.
But that's not my job to do now. And go and do it now. What's my business?
Really, that would be your response.
I wouldn't say okay. I've heard, but at least you're telling me for my information's sake, right? You're not telling me to go.
But would you tell your friend?
Like I said, you have to be able to. I think that decision, you will know what to do if you understand the type of friend that you have. If you know that your friend is somebody that is mature and will not say anything about it, you can tell your friend. But if not, your friend is somebody that immediately the person is going to the line manager, the line manager, please keep your mouth shut.
And you know that. This is why I think that even as a human resource person, you can't have like real friends in the office that is outside of human resource department. Do you know why? Because you hold key information as
HR is not even your friend. HR is your resource
person, right? And so in making friends, because again, there are people that even as a human resource person, like somebody in marketing or finance can be the kind of person that you want to be friends with. However, you should be able to draw a line, right?
There has to be boundaries.
Yes, there has to be boundaries in how, as a human resource person, people that deal with like sensitive information, even finance,
absolutely.
There has to be a way where you are able to draw the line, because there are information that you should not be giving out to people that you have. So in one organization that I worked, right, this I want to be careful not to give information out. This person is working in a department that has sensitive information, so they wanted to let the woman go.
Okay.
Every other person in the department knew
that she was going.
Yeah, that they were going to. Know? It's a human resource department.
Oh, sorry.
So they knew, and she had friends in the department, and nobody told her. And that's the job. It hurts, but that's the actual job.
You know what? What you just said now, I just remember something, and she might even be listening to this podcast, right? But although we're very cool, although we're able to
walk fast
to walk through it, right? I remember that some place that I worked, somebody got into trouble, and then there was a disciplinary committee, right? And of course, HR, I was in the disciplinary committee, right? And then she was called into the meeting. Of course, you know how the regular disciplinary committee and matters go now. And my friend was upset with me that I was in the meeting. I didn't even try to defend her. I was like, dude,
that's not what you could do.
I was in work mode.
Exactly.
Dude, I was in work mode. And you actually did something. What should I have said? I think, like you caused like she was very upset with me. I'm telling you. And I was like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. It's not, I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but although we're able to move past it, but now I see what you mean, where, whatever the case may be, when you're on the job, you're on the job. Mm-hmm. There's really nothing you can do about it. Even if it's due tomorrow, they call it this by committee.
I already know. You can't do it. You even smile at me, and then it's not coming.
I said, my love, how you feeling?
But that's the job, to be honest. Again, you need to understand that, like, department like finance, HR, because we have to work with confidentiality, even legal team too, we have to work with this information. And that's why sometimes it's really hard that you see HR trying to be friends outside of like certain departments, because people people come to you like, you're my guy now. Tell me this thing.
I'm not your guy, yo.
I can't tell you anything, and things like that. So it comes with, the role that we work in. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this episode. This was actually very fun. We're going to be doing this again, but with some other people who have had like terrible experiences with, having friends at work. Beyond that, guys, we're going to be having the next episode that's going to be around, you know what, guys? Bye! Love you guys.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. We laughed, we learned, and hopefully, just hopefully, we have changed the way you see HR for good.
If you love this episode, even if you just mildly enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends, your co-workers. Remember, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, and Jamit.
Until next time, keep thriving, keep surviving, and remember, HR is beyond just hiring and firing of tools for the management.
Catch you on the next one.
Bye.